Welcome to the Multitasking Maven Show. If we haven't met, I'm Rhonda, and I help busy moms scale their business that meets their season of life. I should know because for the past 14 years, I've been busy building a seasonal business that is larger than your local Target, while I've been homeschooling my 4 children, being a soccer mom, and running my household. If it takes you longer to find a link for your business than to stand in line for your favorite drink at Starbucks, we need to talk. Find out why Carol had to say, "You have saved me at least 5 hours a week" with my Productivity Ninja workshop. Let's get into today's episode. But today's topic is how to make more money from your checklist. And we're going to talk about a checklist in 3 different ways. So I'm going to refer to checklists as workflows. That's how I have always thought about checklists. Workflows are kind of a fancy term, but we're going to talk about checklists in terms of workflows. The second thing, why you need workflows in your business, and then we're going to talk about how you can make more money from your checklist. And then finally, a bonus. So right above this video, you are going to see you'll see a link that will actually take you to 3 done-for-you digital checklists. I've got Pinterest profile, client onboarding for virtual assistants, and then blog posts. All right, so let's get right into it because I know your time is valuable. So what is a checklist and what is not? What is a checklist? Is a workflow, what it is and what it is not. So what I think of when I think of a workflow or a checklist, I think about it as items on a list to complete a specific task. Okay, so we're completing just one thing. I don't think about it in terms of just this huge, big to-do list with everything in the kitchen sink on it. It's really 2 very separate things, all right? Now, why do you need a workflow in your business? I'm going to tell you a little story here, and I think that it's going to impact you, and you're going to think about your checklist and workflow every single time that you sit down to do a task, okay? So my husband is a helicopter pilot, and he has flown for over 5,000 hours. Every single time that he gets into the helicopter to start it up or to shut it down, he completes a checklist. He's working on a workflow. And you're thinking, okay, well, that's great, Rhonda, but then how does that apply to me and my business? Well, a couple of different ways is that he completes a very specific task. So there's a checklist associated with startup, and there's a checklist associated with shutdown. He never, ever misses a step, thank goodness. He has been a very safe pilot. And number 3, he's really, really efficient with his time because he's able to stay focused. So my next question to you then is thinking about the task at hand that you have in front of you right now today. Have you done that task for 5,000 hours? So that's how I come up with a 5,000 hour task or 5,000 hour test. And I don't think many people have done a task for 5,000 hours. So I hope the next time that you sit down to do a task that you think about that and you do that 5,000 hour test, because here we go. Number 1, if you don't have a workflow every single time, and I mean every single time you sit down, you are literally reinventing the wheel. You're reinventing that task because you don't have something that's guiding you. A workflow is going to keep you focused because we all know when we sit down to our laptops, our desktops, whatever, we've got all kinds of notifications, whether it's Facebook, whether it's Slack, Trello, all of those notifications continue to just ping us every single time. And let's also talk about children. So if you're working at home with your children, that's a huge distraction. I know that I've been in the middle of a task. One of my children has come up and asked me a question, and I'm like, yes. And then I come back and I try to remember where I am. A workflow is going to tell me exactly where I am. It makes you more efficient. It takes less effort to complete a task. It automates your work. And I'm going to give you just one more bonus of using a workflow. And I've talked a lot about this year, is it's getting it out of our brains, getting it out of our heads, and putting it, filing it away somewhere so we don't carry around that stress. I know as a mother, I carry around a lot of stress because I'm a mother, I have my own business, I have my own event, we homeschool, we do soccer, so many things. And I'm constantly thinking about all of those things. And then I ask myself, what's for dinner? I mean, there's just a lot that's going on. And the more that you can take out of your brain and organize into a workflow is going to open up space in your brain, make you less stressed, make you more efficient with your time, which really goes into how can you make more money using a checklist or workflow? Well, it's going to help you really get the biggest, and I mean the biggest return on investment of the most valuable asset that you have. And what is that? It is your time. And time is money. You know, with my event is getting ready to take place next week, seconds, and I mean seconds, literally matter. When you are talking about 700 people coming through a line just to drop off their items, managing 400 volunteers, 40 to 50 staff members, team leaders, seconds matter, because in those seconds, it's a labor cost. It is, where am I in the phase of my sale? Am I running my sale, or is my sale running me? And then two, that affects your time, affects your customer experience. Whether you are working an offline event, you're working an online business, you know, what is that customer experience? Because the better experience that they have, I think that's why we all love going to Chick-fil-A. The more that they're going to come back, because it makes them feel good. You make them feel taken care of. And 9 times out of 10, if you're a service provider, what you're doing is you are taking something off someone's plate and giving them more time, which is very freeing. And they want to be taken care of because they've got a lot on their plate. All right. And I know that when I sit down to do a task at my computer, time is so critical. I just said a whole laundry list of things that I do. Number one is homeschooling 4 children at very different ages and stages. And I have to be very efficient with my time in terms of being able to complete the task in order to stay focused. And when you can complete a task in a shorter amount of time, you make more money. And you can make more money because you've become very, very efficient. Number two, you can take on more clients if you want to do that, or you can create another product or whatever your business is. Or you can choose to make more money and do other things, like have more time with the kids, do more things for yourself, do more things with your partner. You can choose at that point. Time is not running you, you are running time. Now, with all of that said, we've defined what a checklist is. It's a workflow, fancy term. We've given it the 5,000-hour test, and I've given you several reasons why you need to be using a workflow. And then we talked about the biggest return on investment for your most valuable asset, which is your time. Those are all reasons why you need to be using workflows. But here's the thing. I think a lot of times we like to get systems that work, and then we're afraid to change anything. I will tell you that over the past 14 years, all of the various workflows with my event, which is a seasonal children's consignment sale that is, think about your local Target, okay? And that is the size of my event that we're getting ready to launch next week. I want to give you permission, because I think sometimes we need permission to be fluid with your workflows. So even the done for you templates, the digital templates that I've offered for you today, the 3, the Pinterest, if you're a VA client onboarding, or the blog post workflow, I want to give you permission to be okay to change things. Because what I have found over the years is what works for me might not work for someone else, but I certainly can set you up for success, and I can give you the framework. I can help you organize this really, really big task and put it into very manageable bite-sized steps. And that is something, you know, when I think about what people ask me all the time about what, how I run my life. I mean, I use workflows for homeschool. All my kids have their own Trello boards. I use workflows. We're undergoing a huge home renovation now. My offline business, my online business, I use workflows, and they can work for you and make you more money. So that was a quick sprint today going through all of that. But I hope that what you found out of all of that is how critical and how important it is to use workflow. So if you feel stress, if you feel overwhelmed, you feel disorganized, today is the day that you change things. And I've given you 3 done-for-you digital templates. All you've got to do is to click on the link, you enter your email, you're going to go to a page. I show you exactly how to use all of them, and they're on all separate Trello boards. So they're one Trello board with 3 different lists. All right. So make sure that you sign up for the digital templates that are done for you and join us in the private Facebook group. We'll continue the conversation there. I hope you have a great day. Thank you for listening to today's episode. For show notes and links, go to multitaskingmaven.com. While you're there, we're continuing the conversation in the private Facebook group. You can find your invitation. Until next week.